You're about to meet a woman who is, together with other folks, help people during the most vulnerable time of their lives. That's what Wish Ministry does in the Quad Cities. It's a transitional home for women after incarceration and or addiction. Mary Timmerman is here from Wish, which stands for Women in Spiritual Hope.
Right.
Oh my.
That's right.
Well, that's where it all begins, right?
That's where it all begins.
Yes.
And that's something that it takes time for them to learn.
How long have you been doing this now, Mary? How long has Wish been having this house you're about to tell us about?
Wish has had this house for 4 years. We're a nonprofit 501c3. We've actually had residents for 3 years.
So this is a home where women live after they've been in prison, but not necessarily
Right.
after addiction. But you're not a rehab house.
We're not a rehab. We don't have counselors. We don't get them off drugs. When they come to us, they have been through rehab, they've been through incarceration, they've been sober for a period of time. Interestingly, when you're in prison, you don't count that as sober time because you can't really do anything when you're in prison.
Got it. So that time doesn't count. So it's day one when they get out.
Yeah.
And then so they come to you clean, free of drugs and alcohol.
Yes.
And then what happens in the home, Mary? What do you do for these ladies?
What we try to do is to show them what a family looks like. A family that's based on love and trust, and it's faith-centered. So it's not just a place where they can come out of incarceration and bring their box of goods and have a place to sleep. It's not that. We want to teach them what a functioning family is like. So they cook together, they have studies together, they go to AA meetings together. We encourage them to get a job within the first month at least, because they have to start learning how to live outside of incarceration.
Yes, that has to be, I can't even imagine how difficult that must be for some of those women who've maybe been locked up for a long, long time. Does that happen sometimes when you, or more these more short-term?
It's more short-term generally, but it's recurring short-term.
Oh, okay, so they keep going back.
They keep going back because when you're familiar with something, good or bad, that's your safe place.
Sure, it's your life.
That's your life.
Yes, that's what you have to teach them a new life.
We have to teach them how to think different, about how to respond to bumps in life in a different way and not hide under drugs or alcohol or man or whatever their addiction is.
I know a lot of that is about teaching them about God.
Absolutely.
Hand me that book, would you please, Mary?
Sure,
I know that you were telling me that this book is kind of the basis of the prototype for what you're trying to do at Wish Ministries. It's called Miss Brenda. That's my sister's name. Miss Brenda and the Love Ladies. So this is about a woman who started a home such as yours in somewhere
Alabama.
in Alabama. And so you kind of took her method, or is it a method? Would you call it?
It's
she's
good
a role.
question, Paula.
She's a role model for what you're doing. I know.
Yes, because she was dealing with women that came from a hardcore women's prison in Alabama, Tutwiler Prison, probably the worst one in the United States of America. And she wanted to do what we're trying to do and to show them how to live a different life. Those women had been in for a long time.
Okay.
And so she had to show them how to go to Walmart and choose underwear, because it wasn't all just white briefs.
Right, they'd been in so long they didn't even know how to live.
They didn't know how to live
in the world. Yeah.
And so we find at the Wish House that an awful lot of the women who come have come from very, very dysfunctional childhoods and growing up and in toxic relationships. And so they don't know basic things. One came even and didn't know why you would put sheets on a mattress.
Wow, because they don't do that in prison?
They hadn't done it when she was growing up.
Oh, wow.
They didn't know. There was no role models.
You know, do you have a lot of success stories from?
A lot is relative. We have several. We have several, yes. And it's just so heartwarming. And actually one yesterday texted me, and we were talking. She had a son who was in prison, and he got his GED while he was there, a young man. She's been out on her own for about 6 months in her own apartment and has kept a job, stayed clean. and she got a job for her son at this place. And she told me, she said, I didn't realize when you took me to make pizzas, I said, everything you do it like you're doing for God, because she didn't like making pizzas. And she told me, now I understand that.
Wow. Well, that's success.
That's
for
a
sure.
success.
Yes.
We haven't, yeah.
So, you know, we wanted to make you aware of that this kind of ministry is going on in the Quad Cities. A few women live there at a time for as long as it takes.
As long as it takes.
We can't give you the address of the house. It's not that kind of place where you can stop by. But if someone wants to help with, I'm sure you take donations and need things at the house. So there is a lovely website that you could go. There's the address right there, you guys. It's wishministry.com. There's a phone number as well. You can really help them out. And I see you're on Birdies for Charity.
Yes.
Yes. So that means you'll get some funds
Yep.
that way. But think what they need. They need everything to help these women.
Right, yes.
Clothing, bedding items, and hygiene items.
Hygiene items. We just had a church out in Walcott that took a collection and gave us a lot of laundry stuff and personal hygiene things and garbage bags. Very, very welcome. Food stamps don't cover a lot of that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Mary, thank you for giving us a great introduction to what you do there, and come back and give us more examples of success.
I'd love to.
That'd be great.
Love to.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.